You are very active in Planned Parenthood, are you not?
No, Senator.
Okay. Well, Planned Parenthood, in its annual reports, lists you as a, quote, silver friend, close quote. Do you know what a silver friend means?
I don't, Senator.
That's someone who has donated between $1,000 and $2,500 to Planned Parenthood of Greater Washington and North Idaho. That's in the Planned Parenthood annual reports. You don't know anything about that?
I don't recall. Okay.
And in fact, they say that as of 2018, you've been a donor for at least 10 consecutive years. Is that right? You are a political activist, aren't you?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video dives into yet another intense moment on Capitol Hill. Senator John Kennedy once again brought the heat, this time grilling a Democratic judicial nominee with surgical precision. And trust me, this wasn't just a casual quanda. He confronted her with her own words, her activist ties, and a long list of legal reversals. And the nominee? Let's just say, she had no place to hide. Senator Kennedy wasted no time cutting through the niceties. He looked her dead in the eye and let all hell loose on her. And, as expected, the nominee tried to pivot, but Kennedy pulled out his evidence on her. Let's dive right in.
Judge Pinnell, you are a political activist, aren't you?
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. I am a judge on the Washington State Court of Appeals. I don't consider that to be a political activist.
Okay. In 2020, you and 10 of your friends issued a written statement. You entitled it, quote, Statement on Racism, White Supremacy, and Justice. Here's what you said. I'm quoting from you now. Racism and white supremacy currently plague every social, educational, economic, governmental, and legal system. Racism and white supremacy currently plague every social, educational, economic, governmental, and legal system in our state and in our nation. And they have for centuries. Both, you're referring to your state and America, both target Black, Indigenous, African American, Latinx, and other people and communities of color, resulting in entrenched inequality and inequity, manifesting in unjust, unfair, and differential treatment, and yielding remarkably disparate and negative outcomes relative to those experienced by white people. End quote. Did I read that accurately?
Senator, I don't have it in front of me. I don't have any reason to think that you did not read that correctly.
Okay. You are very active in Planned Parenthood, are you not?
No, Senator.
Okay. Well, Planned Parenthood, in its annual reports, lists you as a, quote, silver friend, close quote. Do you know what a silver friend means?
I don't, Senator.
That's someone who has donated between $1,000 and $2,500 to Planned Parenthood of Greater Washington and North Idaho. That's in the Planned Parenthood annual reports. You don't know anything about that?
I don't recall. What I recall, Senator, is that my husband had donated to Planned Parenthood, and I think at some point in time they listed me along with him, but I believe that was a donation.
This is you.
Okay.
And in fact, they say that as of 2018, you've been a donor for at least 10 consecutive years. Is that right?
I do not recall donating them for the last 10 consecutive,
You don't-
10 years before 2018 or 10,
That's as of,
I don't recall, Senator.
okay, you don't remember. Okay, let me ask you, you're on the Court of Appeal, let me ask you about a few of your cases. Do you remember a case called State v. Westwood?
I believe so, Senator.
And you were reversed in that case, weren't you?
Senator, in reviewing my cases, I think I've been reversed in about 2% of the cases that I've issued. I've issued almost...
Were you reversed in that case, though?
That was a very complicated case regarding sentencing
But I'm
law.
going to run out of time, and I got a bunch of these.
Okay.
Were you reversed?
That might have been one of the 2% of the cases.
Were you
I think so.
reversed?
I believe that that was one of the 2% of cases,
You remember
Senator.
a case called Personal Restraint of Heiress?
That, I think, was the case regarding whether or not the person had
Were
been
you
deprived.
reversed in that case?
That was, I think I was not
Were you
reversed.
reversed in that case, counsel?
Senator, I think that I wasn't reversed as to outcome, but it was one of the 2% of the cases where the state Supreme Court
Do you
disagreed with the
remember a
analysis.
case called Parental Rights of ALK? Were you reversed in that case?
Senator, I think that was one of the 2% of my over 450 cases where there was a reversal.
Do you remember a case called State v. Log Bomb?
I recall that case, Senator. That
Were
case,
you reversed in that case?
that was one of the 2% of cases. I issued an opinion to affirm a conviction, and the state Supreme Court overruled that and
Remember a
reversed.
case?
Senator Kennedy did exactly what every American should expect from a member of the Judiciary Committee. He asked the tough questions and demanded straight answers. In a time when judicial nominees too often breeze through confirmations with polished talking points and vague generalities, Kennedy brought the receipts. He exposed a nominee who tried to present herself as neutral while hiding a clear record of radical ideology, partisan donations, and repeated judicial reversals. He didn't let her dodge. He didn't let her spin. He made her face her own words, her own record, and her own contradictions. That's not playing politics. That's doing the job. Because when it comes to lifetime appointments on the federal bench, the stakes are too high for anything less than complete transparency and accountability. Senator Kennedy stood up for the truth, for the Constitution, and for every American who deserves fairness in the courtroom, not political activism disguised in a black robe. In the end, Kennedy reminded us all why oversight matters, and why a sharp mind paired with Southern grit still makes Washington squirm. By the end, Senator Kennedy had done what few are willing to do. He held this nominee accountable using her own record. Not opinion, not spin, facts. In just one session, he exposed radical ideology, a long trail of activist donations, and a disturbing pattern of reversals in court decisions. This wasn't about personal attacks. This was about protecting the integrity of the judiciary. Because when judges start pushing political agendas from the bench, we all lose. If you believe in fair courts, real accountability, and fearless leadership like Kennedy's, subscribe now and share this video. Let's keep shining a light where the media refuses to look. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay sharp, stay informed, and stay free.